City Police have arrested 32-year-old Thomas Martinen of Cathcart Street for manslaughter. Police say early Monday morning the accused deliberately set a fire inside a residence on Cathcart Street. One resident, 65-year-old Bernard Agawa, died as a result of injuries sustained in that fire. Martinen is charged with 1 count of manslaughter and 1 count of arson endangering life. He was held for bail court. Darren Eamon is an artist from Wawa who is the third of 6 to display their talent as part of the Downtown Association and Future SSM's Downtown Mural Project. Yesterday, members of the community were welcomed to Outspoken Brewery to see part of the creative process as Eamon put the final touches on his monstrous dragon mural per the request of Outspoken. On TV's Alex Parr was there.
So today, Darren and Ricky are not quite done, but we wanted to show these ones in progress. So we invited people down a few days early. They still have time to work on these, but we wanted to show people how it's done. And so we had 2 completely different walls with kind of different situations here. So there was different challenges for each. So it was great that people could come down and check these out and kind of see what's involved in this, the amount of work. A lot of the feedback, I have never heard a negative comment the whole time in the alley, and people, even when they whisper down here, you can hear it. And so no, great feedback from everyone, and we're really happy with that the community is engaging and they see the value in this, and that they're appreciative of the efforts of the artists to do this and what it's bringing to the downtown and the community in general.
The Downtown Association and Future Sault Ste. Marie got together and decided that they wanted to paint some murals. And Outspoken was one of the people that was really down for it. And the owner, Graham, which is really cool, whom I've gotten to know and gotten to become friends with, he had mentioned that he always wanted like a really gnarly 80s metal band cover of a dragon burning a city down on his wall, but he never had the means. And I guess Todd was familiar with my work, and I do like a lot of that genre. So he showed samples of my work to Graham, and Graham said, "Yeah, that looks cool." And so I got a call, and I went in and I went back to the studio, did a quick watercolor sketch of what I thought it would look like. I came in, I showed it to Graham, he loved it, and here we are.
What would you say is the benefit to having more art to those people that are opposed to it? What would you say to them to say, "Hey, you know what, this is important"?
Well, I would quote Winston Churchill. When Winston Churchill was heavily involved in the war, some of his advisors told him that if he cut the arts and culture funding, that they would have more money for the war effort, and his response was, well, then what are we fighting for?
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is set to shuffle his cabinet today. The reset comes just after Ford and his Progressive Conservatives marked 1 year since they won a majority government. When asked recently about the possibility of a shuffle, Ford said he has the best cabinet this province has ever seen, though he noted that each of his ministers could hop into any portfolio. The shuffle also comes as Ford is falling in the polls, with some suggesting his unpopularity could actually hurt federal Conservative leader Andrew Scheer's chances in the province ahead of the federal election in October. Ontario's elected representatives are on an extra long summer break, which gives the reassigned cabinet ministers a chance to acquaint themselves with their new portfolios before returning to the legislature after the federal vote. Ford's last shuffle was in November, when about half a dozen ministers were reassigned following the resignation of Jim Wilson to seek treatment for addiction issues.
Better way. Why is the Prime Minister refusing to protect coastal communities, Indigenous communities, and our environment?
We've put a price on pollution. We're safeguarding our oceans. We're investing in public transit.
One day after the Liberals gave a green light to the Trans Mountain pipeline expansion, the partisan rhetoric in the House of Commons got ratcheted up over Canada's energy sector and the environment.
10 years, Mr. Harper and his Conservatives failed to get one pipeline built to new markets. The Conservatives talk about the Kinder Morgan anchor loop, but that pipeline goes nowhere near a port. The reality is the Conservatives didn't understand and still don't understand that the only way to build energy projects today and into the future is to protect the environment at the same time and work in partnership with Indigenous peoples.
It is a terrible indictment on his record that in Canada, under his prime ministership, that the government must nationalize a project in order to get it built. Under Conservatives, the private sector did that. But we shouldn't be surprised. After all, this is the prime minister that wants to phase out the energy sector.
We now know why Andrew Scheer waited until the dying hours of this parliament to shovel out his ideas to tackle climate change.
Environment Minister Catherine McKenna calls Conservative leader Andrew Scheer's plan to tackle climate change a fake plan. The Liberal minister says it would do nothing to help Canada meet the carbon emission reduction targets in the Paris Accord.
No numbers, no serious measures, and no commitment to move the needle on climate action. That he says we can save the planet, but we don't have to make any changes. Pollution can be free. We can burn coal, develop oil forever, build as many pipelines as oil lobbyists want. Just invent some technologies and sell them to other countries. That'll do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. That the Paris Agreement requires every country to do their part. Every country needs to take serious action at home. You can't export your way out of this problem. You can't invent your way out of this. You need to commit to serious action.